1 in 9 of these solar inverters failed in the field, and your installer bolted it to your roof anyway. That's strike number 7 against the box on your wall, and the brand is SolarEdge. By the end, you'll know all 7 reasons it's there, and the only 3 inverters actually worth the money. Here's what makes this bigger than one bad gadget. The inverter is the brain of your whole solar system, and study after study shows it's the part most likely to die. One analytics firm found roughly 80% of array failures happen right there at the inverter. But the question isn't whether yours fails, it's which brand fails least, and which one your salesman had a quiet reason to recommend. So start with strike number 7, the failure rate. An Australian electrician who'd installed thousands of systems got tired of the marketing and published his own service records, every fault logged. His Fronius string inverters failed at 0.7%. His Enphase microinverters failed at 0.096%. Basically never. His SolarEdge systems were a different story. 34% of those jobs came back with at least one fault, and 11% of the inverters themselves died. Now that's one installer's data through 2020, not a national study, so take the exact figure with a grain of salt. But a 100-to-1 gap doesn't happen by accident, and SolarEdge threatened to sue him twice for posting it. Remember that 11%? It comes back. Strike number 6 is the design, and this part is just physics. A normal string system has one inverter. A microinverter system spreads tiny ones across the roof, so if one dies, you lose a single panel. The SolarEdge box does something stranger. It puts a little optimizer under every panel, then runs all of them into one central inverter on your wall. So count the failure points. You've got electronics baking on the roof under every panel, plus one box that takes the entire system down if it quits. It's the only design that hands you both kinds of failure at once. Your call if that still sounds premium. Strike number 5 is what happens when it does fail. Owners on the solar forums tell the same story on a loop. The unit dies, you file a warranty claim, and the system sits dark for 4 to 6 weeks waiting on a replacement. One owner posted he was on his 4th replacement inverter in 6 years and paid around $250 in labor every single time, because the warranty covers the part, not the electrician installing it. So the box is free. The truck roll isn't. Strike number 4 hides in the warranty itself. That 25-year number on the optimizers sounds bulletproof. But read the page nobody reads, and the labor isn't covered, the diagnostic visit isn't covered, and the roof work to pull a panel and swap the part isn't covered. So when something fails in year 12, the part shows up free and you write a check for everything that actually matters. Now line them up. The system that fails the most is also the priciest to fix when it fails, because every repair means roof access and a labor bill. And the company writing that 25-year promise is the next problem, because a warranty is only ever as strong as the business behind it. Which brings us to strike number 3. Strike number 3 is the company's bank account. In a single quarter in late 2024, SolarEdge reported a loss of over $1.2 billion. It wrote down more than $1 billion in assets, much of it inventory it couldn't sell. Its stock had fallen roughly 90% from its peak, it ran layoff after layoff, and it agreed to pay $55 million to settle a lawsuit from its own investors. I'm not telling you it's going under, but I am asking how a company bleeding like that honors a 25-year warranty, written in 2024, in the year 2041. Strike number 2 is the money on the installer's side. A SolarEdge setup usually costs the installer 30 to 50 cents a watt less than the Enphase equivalent. On a typical home system that's hundreds, sometimes over $1,000 of extra margin tucked inside the same quote you'd pay either way. So the cheaper, less reliable hardware quietly makes your installer more money than the gear that fails least. You're not paying less, but they are keeping more. And strike number 1, the big one. These brands run loyalty programs that pay installers to keep choosing them. SolarEdge has handed out points for every kilowatt installed, redeemable for rewards, the sort of thing that quietly steers a recommendation. And the financing is worse. When a state regulator pulled the contracts apart, one major solar lender was baking an average of 19% onto the system price as a hidden dealer fee, and the Federal Consumer Bureau found these fees can run 30% or more above the cash price. Nobody sabotaged your inverter. They just picked the one that paid them the most and buried the markup where you'd never look. Sorting the honest inverters from the rest is what got me writing this all down, somewhere around the third neighbor who asked me to decode their solar lease. And yes, I just spent 6 minutes dragging one company. But the point was never to scare you off solar. It's to make sure the brain of your system is one you can trust and afford to fix. So here are the only 3 inverters I'd put on my own roof, simplest and cheapest first. Pick 1 is a quality string inverter, and Fronius is the name I trust most. It's one box on the wall, an independent lab rated it a top performer, and that field data had it failing under 1%. When it does fail, an electrician swaps it in an afternoon, no roof, no panel removal. The honest caveat? 1 box means 1 point of failure, and you don't get panel-by-panel monitoring. For a simple, unshaded roof, honestly, that trade is fine by me. Pick 2 is the Sunny Boy from Seme, the German workhorse that's run quietly for decades. It's another independent top performer, and it has a feature I love, a secure power outlet that gives you daytime power straight from the panels even when the grid is down. No battery needed. The caveat is that same single box risk, but the standard warranty starts shorter than the others, so check what your installer actually includes. And the gold standard, pick 3, the Enphase IQ8 microinverters. 1 under every panel, a 25-year standard warranty on every unit, the lowest failure rate in that field data by a mile, and real shade tolerance. Because 1 shaded panel can't drag the rest down. Some versions even give you daytime backup with no battery. The honest caveat is cost. It's usually the priciest option up front, and if one ever fails, it's a rooftop job. But it's the one I'd spend my own money on, and I have. So the core of it is simple. The best inverter isn't the one with the slickest pitch. It's the one that fails least and comes from a company that'll still be around to fix it. You don't need to be an electrician to win this. You just need to sit down at that kitchen table and ask one question. Why this inverter and not Enphase or Fronius? Then watch how fast the answer turns into a sales script, the honest version. Nobody pays this channel to recommend anything, so it all lives in one manual. Its money chapter shows you how to spot the dealer fee hidden in your solar contract. Getting that wrong runs into the thousands. This is $29.99. Once, today's answer was free either way, so the link's on screen and below. Because the same playbook that put the worst inverter on your roof is hiding something far bigger in the contract itself. The kind of clause that can quietly drop a lien on your house. 1 in 9 of those inverters failed, and somebody still sold it as premium. YouTube thinks you'll like one of these next, so go click it. And if you made it all the way here, subscribe.